training, the training center.
Five o'clock, we're going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sites,
Here.
Worth here, Zelinski here, Miller,
Here.
Nelson.
Present. Public comment will open at 5 o'clock. Person wishing to address the board may do so once per public comment period. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and shall be addressed to the chair and not individual board members or others in the audience. This is a comment input option. The board is not required to comment or respond to presenters. Silence or non-response from the board should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the board.
William Sword out, 16341 Brundage Road. Couple things. I'm willing to volunteer my service, place flags on the cemeteries as I did last year for the veterans on all 3 or 4 cemeteries, whatever I did. So I'm open to that if you wish. And a lot of road construction going on, so everybody's got to be careful. The city's moving out this way, and I just haven't noticed there's hundreds of acres for sale on the east side of Reynolds Road. Hundreds, so be safe out there. Thank you.
Comment?
Alan McCullough, 20359 Douglas Road. Has anybody, I know you can't answer this, but I'm kind of curious what's going to happen, or is any scuttlebutt about that debris over on Lake Ann Road, you know, the farm that burned down? So I'm just concerned if you guys have anything in the air about that. Thank you.
Other public comment?
Keith Bonnie, Turtle Lake Campground. I'd like to apply for a beer and wine license for our store. Do I do it here? Mike said it was on the agenda. I didn't see it, but I just got it. Oh, okay, so I'm wrong reading?
Next week, you're early.
All right. Well, thank you. You guys have a great day then.
Other public comment? Approval of meeting agenda.
Yeah, we need to add budget amendments for sick pay and bank fees to number. wait a minute. Okay. First off, start over. I move to add to the agenda the Gay Bridge audit for 9K. For 9L, the Lake Ann School charitable gaming license resolution. 9M, budget amendments for sick pay and bank fees.
You made that a motion?
Yes,
Which one was the
I
last
said I
one?
move the budget amendments for sick pay and bank fees.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This is approval of consent agenda, prepaid bills.
We just need to pull out the roll-off bill. plowing bill? Because I thought we had agreed that it would be itemized by dates. And it's not, it's by month. And, oh, that's unpaid bills.
Yep, so we don't need to talk about that yet.
We don't need to talk about that yet. I'm sorry, wrong area.
Don't do anything yet?
So.
I'm sorry?
So
No,
we're not-
I'm sorry. It might be too late.
So we don't have, so the consent agenda, you don't need to pull anything out then.
No.
Okay.
All right, I'll move the inland board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second,
Any discussion? Can you take roll call, please, Rose?
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
yes.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Wood, yes, Sights.
Yes, motion carries. We have several guest speakers tonight. We're gonna start with the county administrator, Katie.
Hi, everybody. Katie Zeitz. Nice to see all of you. I think I've met all of you already before, so it's nice to see you. County Administrator for Benzie County. I've been serving Benzie County since 2021 as your administrator. Tonight, I'm here to talk to you just quickly about the Headley Reset millage that's going to be on for the August ballot coming up here in a couple of months. All of you should have a green packet. Some of you might have goldenrod and other colors, and there's more in the back for you. This packet really goes into depth as to what that Headley reset millage is going to look like on that August ballot. It does go into the county a bit more than it does the townships, because while I'm with the county, but this does affect the township just as much as it affects Benzie County. So in 1982, Benzie County put into place the general operating millage for the county and the townships. In 1982, that millage for the county was 5.29. And that millage for the townships was 1.21. And since that time, since 1982, it has rolled back almost every single year. Here in Benzie County, the Benzie County Commissioners are levying 3.23, so from 5.29 down to 3.23. And the townships are levying a bit less than 1.21 as well, and that's in this packet that talks about where you're at right now. So since that time, Benzie County has created what we like to call an a la carte menu of special levies to provide the services that Benzie County is demanding: animal control, school and youth resource officer, drug enforcement, and so forth. And that was because we have never reset that millage language that was set in 1982. And it's rolled back because of the Headley Amendment. So the Headley Amendment was put into place really for good reason. It was to help control the tax burden on the community for their taxpayers. But unfortunately, that Headley rollback was created for what is called a growth economy. And since 1982, there's been various times where the economy has crashed, for lack of better words. And there's no ability for the county to then step back up, or the townships during that time, without a reset of that millage that goes on the August ballot or the November ballot. So now, for the second time since 1982, we are asking the board, or asking the community to reset that millage. They did ask one other time, it's my understanding, in the early 2000s, they went to the community to ask for a reset and it was voted down, and they haven't done it since. They've been kicking the can down the road since then. But we are at a time now where we believe it is time to ask the community for a reset in that millage. So the Board of Commissioners established what is called the Tax Limitation Advisory Committee, and that committee has been meeting over several months, and you can view all of those meetings on the county's YouTube channel, and I've created a special playlist within that channel so you can find those meetings pretty easily. And that committee has been meeting over several months to make a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners as how to move forward. On that committee served myself, Kelly Long, the county treasurer, Matt Olson from the ISD, Jason Barnhart was the representative of the supervisors, Mandy Gray Rainier, she's with Elmira Township, as well as Randy Rice, who is a resident of Joyfield Township. We've been meeting over several months to talk about what do we do? How do we make this look going forward? That committee is the one charged with that recommendation. The Board of Commissioners only have the opportunity to accept or reject that recommendation. They recommended to the Board of Commissioners to increase the county's general operating millage by 1.2 and to increase the townships up to 1.21, which was the original levy in 1982, for a 2-year period. Now, the Board of Commissioners has had a lot of concern about the 2-year period because it seems rather quick. And they did actually reject the recommendation initially to the Tax Advisory Committee to reconsider the length of that millage. And the committee, again, recommended forward that 2-year timeline. And the thought process behind that was they felt the community may be more willing to take a chance on a shorter millage than on a longer millage. So they asked for the 2-year period. So what that means is if it was approved, the community is going to see that again in about 2 years to decide how they would like to proceed forward. So now as a county standpoint, these general fund operating dollars, they provide an array of services to the community. All things from road patrol, equalization administration, the clerk, the courts, and so forth. But of those services, mandated services and non-mandated services are thrown in the hat. And some services that Benzie County has provided are not mandated under statute. So therefore, if this millage were to fail, the county would have to cut about $6.5 million from a $9.5 million general fund. So as you can imagine, if the county has mandated services that they're required to provide, that's what's going to be left to pay for with those dollars. Now, some may be surprised to learn that road patrol and emergency management are not mandated services. We don't have to have road patrol. So those are some of the things that would be considered on the chopping block, for lack of better words. The services that we are required to have are the clerk and the treasurer, the register of deeds, as well as the courts and the prosecutor. But those other services aren't necessarily mandated to have. And so the Board of Commissioners would have some really tough decisions to make if this were to fail in the August election. Now, if it fails for Benzie County, it fails for Inland Township too. And so your general operating millage would go away. A couple of years ago, we dropped the indefinite status, and some of you may remember that millage on your ballot from a couple of years ago, asking to drop that word indefinite. And when we dropped that word indefinite, what that did is it put a sunset on your general operating millage. So there's nothing to fall back onto if it does fail. It simply goes away for your township and the county, as well as every other township within Benzie County. Now, some townships use those general operating dollars for fire service, parks and recreation, cemetery, and so forth. We as Benzie County, like I said, road patrol, emergency management, the courts, the clerks, and so forth. Now, Benzie County is, of course, saying that if this ballot measure were to approve, there would be some other services that they would wrap into the general fund. Because the idea is to get that a la carte menu to decrease on the tax bill. So as a commitment to the community, the Board of Commissioners is saying that if the ballot were to be approved at the August election, the animal control millage, the school and youth resource millage, and the drug enforcement millage, or TNT as some of you call it, will fall off your tax bill because those services will be part of the general fund now. So all in all, from a county standpoint specifically, the net increase is 0.79 to the taxpayer. Now, from a township standpoint, again, that's within this packet that I have provided. Inland Township, the overall increase, if approved, could be 0.49 to the taxpayer. Now, I will say this now, and I'll continue to say it to everybody and everyone that I talk to. It is up to the township to levy what is needed for the services that they want to provide, not what they want. Benzie County has made that commitment over the last 5 years as administrator. My recommendation for this fiscal year budgets have had levies decrease many of times. We have decreased levies like the school resource officer and the Maples operating millage because those dollars weren't needed to provide the service, and so we gave the taxpayer a break. And I'll continue to say that to all the townships as I present to them as well. Levy what you need, not what you want. So that's what's in here. Also within this packet is an equation to help you calculate the tax increase if it were to approve at the max level. But also on the county's website, benzieco.gov, there's a button right on the home page that says General Operating Millage. And on there is a ton of information, but it's also a tax calculator. So anyone can take their change assessment notice or their tax bill and find their parcel number. And in that calculator, all they have to do is enter their parcel number, and it will calculate for you the total tax burden if it were to be approved. Now, again, that's total if everyone were to levy the max levy. But obviously, many will levy down because they may not need the max levy at the time. So that calculator will calculate it out for everyone within Benzie County. We have programmed everyone's parcel numbers in there. So that's really handy if you don't want to use the tax calculator equation that I have in this packet for you. Now, as part of this, everyone says, what is the need? Why does Benzie County need to do this? Well, Benzie County continues to grow. The services that we need to provide continue to evolve, and those cost dollars. We're already at a point where we're having to use general fund dollars to help balance other funds. Central dispatch is one of them, used to be the jail and others. We have to use general fund dollars to then balance those budgets. Central dispatch is an interesting one. Their funding is derived from a surcharge. And so all of you who have a Benzie County cell phone, you probably see on your cell phone bill, it says 911 surcharge. That is how central dispatch is funded from a county standpoint. And that surcharge does not meet the demand of central dispatch, the needs of the future of that department within there. Our goal is to have dual coverage at all times. Dayton can attest to that's not always the fact, and that is a goal of us. And then the technology it takes to run central dispatch is just amazing. The amount of computers and phones and those sorts of devices, and the cost of those devices is just wild. You look at your iPhone that you get from the cell phone store, and it's over $1,000. Imagine one of the computers that it costs to run central dispatch. So we need dollars as we plan into the future. We have a 5-year rolling capital plan, and on that rolling capital plan, we see the need for money to look into the future as we continue to grow Benzie County to do just the general maintenance things with concrete and pavement and HVAC units and all of those sorts of things. And right now, we just don't have the ability to save for those quote unquote rainy day fund items. Right now, if the general operating millage were to fail, and even with cuts, Benzie County would be completely out of fund balance by 2029. And at that point, if the county has zero operating dollars outside of the limited revenue sharing and other things that we receive from the county, we would be in a state of emergency situation where the state would have to step in. Unlike the townships, the county's revenue sharing is not constitutional. So constitutionally, the townships get a certain amount of revenue sharing. The counties are just what's left extra. And so every year, the state government decides how much revenue sharing a county will get. And there's been years that when there was a recession within the state of Michigan, the counties were hit pretty hard, whereas the townships were held somewhat in stone because of that constitutionality of those dollars. And so we've continued to face those decreases over the years. Even the emergency management department, at one point we were receiving almost 50% in grant dollars from the state of Michigan to provide emergency management services. Rebecca Hubers, as many of you have seen. This year we're scheduled to get 8% of that department. So just in the last 5 to 7 years, we've lost 42% of the funding from the state of Michigan, yet we're required to provide the same or better services as we were when we implemented it. So those are just some of the things, and I'm sure you as a township have items as well where you're facing those shortages and you're like, where am I going to come up with those dollars? So that is kind of it for my spiel when it comes to the general operating millage. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Yeah, I would. Well done. I mean, you didn't even look at the notes.
I think you're like the 8th township at this point.
So, well, that's kind of where my question would lie then, Katie. As a township, what can we do? So can we, you mentioned you have something on your website, the information about the reset, a calculator. Can we link
Yes.
to that? Would that be helpful if that was on our homepage?
It'd be helpful if you could link your website. It's helpful if you're talking to your neighbors. Like I said, this isn't all about the county. This affects every single township in Benzie County as well. And so just think about the dollars that you receive from a general operating standpoint. Those would be cut. Now, I know Inland Township from a funding standpoint is fairly healthy, but you're one big project away still from having we need to save a little more. And so thinking about those long-term things that you as a township, us as the county have to plan for to provide those enhanced services. Traverse City is coming this way, and unfortunately, we're the first county on the other side of that, or the first township on the other side of that line. So we have to think about those things because they will come. And so those are the things that even as a township, if you can talk to your neighbors about the needs of your specific township, in addition to the needs of the county. But if you want to link to our website, benzieco.gov, it's right there on the homepage.
Okay. Has any other township done that? Or is there anything another township has done that you would say, hey, we're doing this, maybe you guys could do that too?
Yeah, I think most of them are linking. I know Crystal Lake and others have confirmed that they're linking on their website. And then some of them are including verbiage in their newsletter. So Homestead Township, who I met with last week, they're going to include part of their newsletter about the general operating millage and what that means for not only Homestead Township, but also for Benzie County.
Very much. Thanks for being here.
Mhm.
Any questions? Does anybody in the public?
Yeah, you're
Anybody
welcome.
in the public have any questions on this?
Thank you.
It's always tough following.
We
But I'm
follow
gonna-
each other
I
down
know.
the township
Rob
though.
Scott.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to address the board and the residents of Inland Township. My name is Rob Scott. I'm the mobility manager for Benzie Bus, and I'm here to talk about our annual report from last year and do some organizational highs. Operating a total of 61 employees, including administrators, staff, dispatchers, mechanics, and of whom 45 of those are drivers, mostly part-time, but a significant amount are full-time. And that helps us maintain the flexibility while covering our daily demand. We operated a fleet of 32 vehicles, ranging from smaller vehicles like the minivans that we use for our health rides to larger buses like our transits and trolley and cutaways. 70% of that fleet uses propane primarily, which is slightly less efficient, but it is more cost effective to operate. And on a typical day, the system runs about 25 routes, 17 vehicles at any given time during the peak demand. Our ridership was the highest of the year in our history. We averaged about just under 400 passengers per day. With our busiest day on June 3rd, we carried 601 passengers. And so far this year, our ridership remains strong and steady, averaging just under 400, again, passengers per day, with our busiest day so far at 543 passengers. We have had several closures just because of the weather, and most recently it was seemed like the gut punch, but when we were off that Monday and Tuesday of the most recent storm, but we still are trending ahead for the year, which is positive. And actually, last September was our busiest month of the year, and we had over 12,000 passenger trips. Um, we were awarded a capital investment grant through the Federal Transit Administration of $3 million to be able to expand our covered parking facilities behind our facility just to the north. So we're able to take much better care in extending the life of our fleet by being able to cover those from weather while they're parked. We're anticipating site prep to begin this fall and scheduling to be concluded by July of 2027. Again, none of that money comes out of the local millage or operating funds. It's all grant from the FTA. We, as a large employer in the county, we do face the same workforce challenges, but we have been steadily focusing on becoming an employer of choice and really focusing on the recruitment and retention of outstanding people. And we have attributed that to being able to have a strong retention, which allows us to have better operations on the road, taking care of our residents better. I direct the Health Rides Program, which is our non-emergency medical transportation, taking Benzie County residents not only to health appointments within the county, but also to Grand Traverse, Wexford, Leelanau, and Manistee counties. And as of last October 1st, we were able to expand our services from Monday through Wednesday to include Thursday and Friday, so 5 days a week. And we have seen a spike in that ridership. Part of it is from the ability to schedule more during the week, but we've also seen an increase in our new passengers for that program, which means we're closing those gaps for accessibility to wellness and getting people to those appointments. And it is our goal to be able to expand that service area to reach health providers downstate. So Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor, Lansing, Saginaw, all those places where people would not only either out of pocket or the insurance companies, significant cost if they didn't have any other ride other than ambulances or different modes of transportation. We're able to provide that through, by expansion of our network. Some of that is going to be volunteer work that we're working on right now to join a network, but all of that will still very closely align with our mission to be able to get people downstate. And through this year so far, 2026, definitely, we're seeing increases in demand all across the board, and we are very grateful for the opportunity to be able to serve residents of Benson County. Happy to answer any questions about last year or anything coming up for this year, if you have any.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
How much savings do you think you have going from gasoline to propane?
So, the commodities right now, it's higher because the gas prices are so higher. But where we see the advantages is uh, just in the emissions for sure, but also overall it is far less, it's more cost effective overall, and especially with cost of gas prices right now. Um, the driver or the performance of the vehicles, there's no difference in what fuel that it burns, but we have very good pricing to be able to get that propane. Now there's that break even point at some point where it's about the same, but we're over that with where gas prices are right now. But it's better on the vehicles. And we did have grants for EVs, electric vehicles, but we were able to change and modify those grants because practicality of operating strictly EV, it just wasn't, it's not doesn't work out real well in the modern counties like this. So we were able to convert those monies and that funding for dual propane and gasoline. So we're able to come out ahead.
One more
Yes,
question
ma'am.
for you. With the propane, is there any more um, anxiety about explosion with propane versus gasoline?
Yeah, I haven't heard any concern about that. I don't, I don't know that we've ever fielded complaints. That doesn't mean they haven't existed. I don't know that that's, that is under pressurization. I think if there's an impact that would take out a, propane fuel cell versus a gasoline, I think there's going to be equal problems, but I have not heard any concerns or complaints regarding propane as a fuel. And I might be wrong, but I personally haven't heard that. Yeah, of course.
Does anybody in the public have any questions?
Well, thank you very much for your time, and we appreciate it. Have a good night. Thank you, likewise.
Next is Richard from Gambridge.
Hey, everybody. So I'd like to just start off, I don't have a big, I don't really have a rehearsed speech or walkthrough for you on this. I really wanted to first just open up the floor for anyone on the board. You all have received printed copies of the audit, I believe, and you've had a chance to review those. So if any of the board members at this point have any questions about the contents of the report, I have a copy in front of me now. I'd be happy to address that. Whether it's questions about the content or questions about actual figures within the report. There will be a couple of things that I'll touch on from the report, but I figured if there was anything to start off, we could just kind of dive in. Some of the questions that I did receive from board members before before the presentation today do address some of the comments and recommendations that were provided in the report, but if anyone has any questions that they'd like to cover now.
You want to ask the question, answer the questions that were asked?
Absolutely,
first?
yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to look at some notes from this. There were a few. So one question I had was related to bank reconciliation policy and timeline. So the state of Michigan requires that bank reconciliations are performed in a timely manner, and the example they give is within 30 days of year end. I see it going to 45 days sometimes, but usually no more than that. If you get into situations where it's continually above 45 to 60 days, I would say that there's a systemic issue somewhere. But of course, things are going to happen, and it can be a bit of a domino effect. You get off one month, it's going to lead to some issues in the next month, and so on. But from a point of being caught up moving forward, I would say good timelines, 30 to 45 days, and then just sticking to that. So from the comments and recommendations that we had provided as part of the most recent audit report, as far as prioritizing the improvements to the reconciliations, professional assistance is certainly an option, whether that is from our firm or from any outside entity who would be qualified to handle that. What I would say though is just from my conversations before the meeting started, it sounded like if reconciliations are currently at a point where March is being worked on, and if it sounds like you're relatively caught up at that point, I would say whatever changes have been made, stick to it and move forward. But as things come up, though, as there would be any issues in terms of having difficulties reconciling or anything, myself or other members of the team are just a phone call away. So, we're available to, set up some sort of a meeting to go through some of those things. Zoom or Teams, we can take a look at the ledger with whomever's needing assistance on that. I had a question about capital asset policy. So with the capital asset policy and modernizing that, so one of the first things to look at would be a capital asset threshold. So governments have a wide latitude for what they're allowed to consider something to be a capital asset. What we're seeing now is that federal guidance is looking at items that are at $10,000 and above with a useful life of a year or more. We're starting to nudge entities in that direction. The previous federal guidelines were $5,000, and that just related to the federal standards for overseeing federal grants and what the Fed is wanting to see that places are tracking. $10,000 is the new threshold. We are seeing some places implement that. If you were to go to 5,000 or 10,000, either one would be just fine. So the threshold is the big thing. And then having a policy or procedure in place where there's an inventorying of capital assets against the capital asset listing each year, treat it like a checklist. Pretty much, yep, we still have the building. We still have the parking lot improvements, things like that. They're still being depreciated. And it's really a good test to make sure that if there are any large pieces of equipment or even moderate sized pieces of equipment, it kind of helps some of that fraud detection, theft detection in the event that something is missing, or it just prompts the questions of, hey, where is this thing? And then it's being looked for and located. So that is a good part of internal controls. It's having something like that built into the policy. Regarding the fire department rents, it sounded like there were some changes for how that was being addressed in terms of it just being eliminated. I think that's a great move. What I would encourage would just be that the township continues to look at what costs can be shared amongst the funds and allocating that as you can see fit, and having a documented methodology for allocating those costs, whether it's allocating electricity, gas for heat, insurance for the building as a whole, things like that. Having something in place so that there's just no question when the bill comes in, oh yeah, this gets split 60-40 or this gets split 50-50 with whether it be the fire department or another fund. Had a question on the transitioning of funds, so particularly as it related to the general agency fund, water suppression fund, and then there were a couple others, planning and zoning. So really, what we're expecting to see in the future would be that items from that were being accounted for previously in the 701 General Agency Fund, Water Suppression Fund, Planning and Zoning Fund, those things would be moved over into the general fund because as it sits, the source of funding entirely for those was general fund dollars. So they really just didn't meet the GASB definition. That's the standard settings body. It didn't meet the definition of it being a fund. It'll actually take some burden off of the board in terms of not needing to budget for those funds. They'll just be departments within the general fund. So things like planning and zoning. If you were to take a look at the Michigan Uniform Chart of Accounts, there are specific department numbers for those activities. So that's how those would be accounted for moving forward. The general agency fund was a little bit, that one, there were a handful of transaction classes that were being handled in there. And again, those can be accounted for in the general fund. I do think when it comes to um, it seemed like there was some confusion on handling payments to the sexton, and there was some ins and outs that were happening. So um, money's in for cemeteries, burials. Those would be a revenue in the general fund within the department tagged for the cemetery. It should have a 500 level department for the cemetery activities within the general fund. So monies come in related to the burial. Then when the money goes out to the sexton, there would just be an expenditure line item. So like an 800 level expenditure line for the payment to the sexton.
So we could do away with our 701.
Absolutely. Yep.
There's laws regarding how that one's closed, right? That's the.
The 701, no, the perpetual care there is.
Oh,
The
I thought.
701
is-
for the sexton, we can just do like we've done, make a
Right.
101's 800 something.
Yeah, yeah.
Just right on that.
Yep. Yeah, and there were a couple other, I think hall rental was being addressed in there as well.
The 701
With the
too,
refunds, yeah, and that's another one where when you get those deposits in, it would just be sitting as a liability um, within the general fund. So if you have any questions on, if you get to a point where you want to look at that specifically, a 20-minute phone call, if that, so an easy one. And then the water suppression fund, that one was interesting because I think as we had looked in research, there was an understanding of what the purpose was in terms of the dollars going in, but there really wasn't great supporting documentation for like the origination of this, and that was one that we were just recommending if that activity, it was a split of one of the revenue streams where a part of one of the permits, I believe, was diverted. Yeah, and the idea was that that money was being set aside for what was it, for new hookups or
Well, a new possible well in the future.
new possible well in the future? And that same idea can be accomplished just within the general fund. And allocating a portion of fund balance to it each year, it'll accomplish the same thing. It'll just do away with a fund. It'll be one less thing you have to
We
budget.
stopped collecting that a couple years
Yeah.
back. We
Oh,
just
okay.
still have that separate fund number. and
Sure,
separate budget.
and one thing with those dollars, so ultimately you'd be able to do with those dollars what you'd want through board action. So when we're looking at dollars in terms of their level of availability, it's classified from the most restricted down to the least restricted. So the most restricted being considered non-spendable, the least restricted being unrestricted. You can use it for whatever you'd like. So those dollars fall into a category called committed. So they're there and they're set aside because of a board action. Well, a board action can undo a board action. So if you all decided that you wanted to use those dollars for something else, a simple board action could reclassify that into either some other commitment or monies that were or monies that are set aside for whether it's another purpose or just unrestricted. That's entirely up to the board, whatever it is you all would see fit there. So I believe that covers everything we had. There was also a Parks and Rec fund, but I believe that got closed out during the audit. Again, parks activities can just be accounted for within the general fund, just a department.
The events got closed too. The events, there was an event
Yes.
line too.
Yeah, there were a few. So really, probably not. I think you would have seen a little bit of relief in terms of burden on the board for this most recent budget cycle, but then your next budget cycle is going to be a lot lighter, even that. So, let's see here. Question 6 that I had. So it talked about the structuring of responsibilities and controls, and I think the most important thing to consider there is that everyone would be in agreement on whatever process is in place and working. So the state does have prescribed guidelines in the form of a Michigan Accounting Procedures Manual. The issue with this is it's an antiquated document. So it gives you general guidelines in terms of whose responsibility is what when it comes to the handling of the ledger, the handling of reconciliations, and internal controls. That document just isn't set up for a modern accounting system. So that's where there is a degree of latitude, and being that smaller governments tend to have fewer resources in terms of not only available dollars but also available manpower. Seeing that you put controls in place where they make sense. You don't want to have so many controls in place that um, uh, staff are overburdened, or you're needing to hire professional level staff. To be on site at all times, monitoring things in a full controllership. I think having key segregations of duties, looking at it from a perspective of, you want to minimize opportunities where the person who is handling cash would be also involved on recording the transaction. The issue is when you're in a small government, you have a few employees. You have a couple employees. So it's really identifying opportunities where you can and having cross checks where you can. And so if one person's preparing a reconciliation, the other person's reviewing it, and asking questions about, well, hey, what is this? What is this? That's one of the that's one of the biggest things you can do. And then ensuring too that when invoices are generated, payments are being processed, that department heads that are providing those original invoices, you're seeing some level of review and approval there. Um, and one nice thing about the smaller governments is that you have the opportunity to review all of the bills, but before they're being processed, and it's such an arduous task. So board involvement is also right there. In terms of my highest priority recommendations, so one thing that was asked in relation to the report was what would be seen as the highest priority recommendations, and the highest priority would certainly be looking at the bank reconciliations and having a process in place to where there's maybe some sort of written policy and procedure around that. I think that would be a good tool that could help drive that process. And again, it's looking at what's in place, what's working, what can everybody agree on, and utilizing that to move forward. You can pass any policy you want. If it doesn't work for everyone involved, it's not going to help move forward. So
Rose and I spoke today about the bank reconciliation process because we're the only two that do it,
Right.
right? So I do them, she reviews and
Wonderful.
makes general ledger adjustments.
perfect.
But our policy that's in this book that is in our budget doesn't reflect that. So we were gonna review that together and then submit that for
Perfect.
approval to the board.
Absolutely. That is the perfect step in the right direction. And it sounds like with where things are at right now, working on your You're exactly where I would expect you to be, where you're working on a March reconciliation at this point. You know, if you're off by a couple of dollars from the previous month, you're not going to find an auditor who's going to bat an eye at a couple of dollars on a, you know, $100,000 bank account. So
I like to find it.
I love to find it. It's just it's a matter of where do we want to put our time. But I would say absolutely cash should balance to the penny, no questions asked. And that's how I was trained on any of it. It has to work out. It just has to. And there's times though where it's like, well, and it's different when it's salaried versus hourly. It's if you were to say, hey, we'd like to contract with you to help me find this $2, I'm gonna say, my rates are going to exceed that far and above. You're not going to want to do that for $2. So that's where I'll say, well, here's what I would do. Excuse me. Um, Best practices for similarly sized townships. Really, board intervention in terms of having things like looking at including the bank reconciliations as part of the board packets if that hasn't happened. And due to timing, there can be a little bit of a lag there where it might be, not the most current month. It might be the month before, just, if you're looking at 45 days or 30. So there can be some timing differences there, but that's certainly one thing I've seen happen at a lot of municipalities. And as it just becomes like a routine built-in thing, there's kind of that healthy pressure too for getting everything move forward there. And then just whether it's written job descriptions, policies and procedures, and or deadlines that are prescribed by the board. I've seen varying degrees of those types of things being implemented with great success. One question I did have regarding just the overall health of the township in terms of financial health. One highlight from the audit report, the general fund at March 31st, 2025. One key metric you can look at is your expenditures as a percentage of your fund balance. So the general fund had approximately 210% of its 210% of its expenditures in fund balance. So that would go to mean if you didn't have any revenue sources coming in and all things stayed the same in terms of those general operating costs, you'd be able to operate for a couple of years before you're completely having to shut the door or having to just work for free. Comparing that to other townships, I see a fluctuation for a township this size. I see anywhere from 75-80%. I've seen as high as 300. And usually what happens in those cases, or the reason, is that there's money in there that's set aside for some sort of capital project, some sort of anticipated future costs. And for that, what I would recommend is looking at your fund balance, understanding if, well, we have this much money because we know we're going to have to do an addition to the building. Making board commitments to show that those monies are that they're either committed to a project or a management level assignment of those monies, just to show that it's not unassigned monies. It's those monies are set aside. So the general fund is typically the only fund with an unassigned fund balance. When you have things like a fire millage, it's for fire activity. You can't just use it for anything. So it's considered restricted because it's governed by the ballot language that was used to pass it. So I'd say you're in terms of where that sits. It's certainly not out of the ordinary, especially considering the size of the township. And there can be, great fluctuations from year to year when we're not talking about huge dollars. And recommendations for best practices, I think I've really covered that. A lot of it is just focusing just the cash reconciliations, ensuring that there's a good process in place, because that's usually the first thing I'll ask for before starting an audit is cash reconciled? And if it's not, generally an audit you can't start at that point. So that was what I had received for communications. In terms of the audit itself, I would just highlight that we did issue, it used to be called a clean opinion. It's an unmodified opinion. So the end result of an audit is we provide an opinion on the fairness of the financial statements. An unmodified opinion is saying that we're saying in all material respects, the financial statements are fairly stated. So that's the highest level of opinion you can get. And it's really saying that those financial statements provided can be relied upon for decision-making purposes. If you have any questions about the specific contents of the report, again, I'd be happy to take any questions there, or if there were certain items you'd want me to touch on just for the general public's awareness, I'd be happy to do that for you.
I would just like you to read, so you made a comment about like the electric bill, for example. Compared to like we make a decision at the board level, we put it in writing that the township pays this percentage, the fire department pays this percentage.
Mhm.
That's how you recommend that be, and
So
do you recommend?
I've reached out
Hang
to,
on.
sorry.
And do you recommend, yeah, well, I'm asking him. And so do you, because I'm just confused why the rent thing came up and why we just flat out stopped it. Because forever since I've been here and forever since the fire department started, we've charged them rent because they use 3/4 of the building. And I understand that we significantly raised the cost of the rent, but we just flat out eliminated it. So I would like to know, because from talking to other places, that's not, they charge. So I'm just curious of why we recommend that and whether that should all be a consistent percentage.
Sure.
So I've reached out to a company called MGT. They're out of Florida.
Oh, yeah. Cost allocation plans. Yeah.
This is kind of what they.
I want to hear what his recommendation is.
Yeah, absolutely. So the folks at MGT, so I know them from preparing cost allocation plans for counties, so that counties can be compliant for things like allocation of their overhead expenditures as it would relate to being able to prepare child and family services reports and prosecuting attorney reports where they're getting federal funding, and there's heavy scrutiny placed on when you have an overhead cost and the federal government's reimbursing. Like there's a lot of folks that have a really keen eye on those things. So that's where MGT comes in, and they have huge workbooks, and they will break everything down to like square footage costs, and they do a great job at what they do. I have not seen a township use MGT for a cost allocation plan as it relates to spreading the costs for a fire department. I would say that's one of those I would weigh the costs of that service, because I know that they take a lot of pride in what they do, and they can be very expensive. So if you have quotes and you're comfortable with all that, by all means, I hope to see how it works out.
Do you have any other recommendations of
Doing it yourself,
What would you say is a fair way to do that? Because part of the consideration, I mean, there were numerous things taken into consideration when that recommendation was made to the board.
Sure.
Part of it was square footage
Yeah.
of what the fire department's using versus the township's using. Because,
Yeah.
hey, we would all, I'd like to have my own office, not
Sure.
share it with,
Sure.
right? I'd like to improve that. I'd like to see rent be allocated, as you said, to adding on and improving the township offices. All of us know they'd like their own office, right? We don't,
Sure.
so like,
Or a bigger one.
right, or a bigger one. Like,
Yeah.
we definitely are growing and we definitely are all here more than ever.
Sure.
So, so those are, so I just would like to know, like, what is a fair, I mean, those things were taken into consideration when that amount was came up with, the square footage, what the going rate for commercial
And that's
was.
and that's where I had a lot of disagreement with how that methodology was put in place. I'm all for there being some sort of like an allocation of costs where the fire department is paying for its usage and maybe it's but in terms of there being a rental component, in terms of it truly being rent, the the fire department is the township's fire department.
It just needs to be reworded.
Pardon me?
It needs to be reworded, sharing the cost of the building.
Well, so part of sharing the cost of the building is sharing the costs of utilities, yeah, and any of the utilities, the insurance costs. In terms of there being rent, that there's no, it's not a commercial relationship. In terms of using square footage for those allocations, if you were to look at electrical and say, well, you guys have this percentage of the building in terms of square foot, um, what it really boils down to is that you all have a methodology in place that doesn't involve commercial. It's really that you're allocating current expenses. Um, so, and if you were to look historically, I'm not sure specifically which dollars were used for the building of this building. I could see something where there is maybe like a portion of the depreciation was being allocated to help cover if the general fund had paid all of the dollars towards that, but I'm not sure offhand, when the building was constructed, specifically which dollars were used.
It was purchased, already constructed, and it was purchased prior to the township even having a fire department.
Oh, okay. And so was it?
Well, they just started the fire.
Well, they started it as,
Okay.
when they bought the building,
Got it. Okay.
They were
but
still
the township
working down there.
purchased it.
Oh, no.
Okay. And yeah, so there's there is a possibility where if the township was looking to recapture, if the township's general fund was looking to recapture some of those historic costs. But again, I would say, for that, you'd want to have some significant documentation in place to be able to say, hey, we're doing this to recapture these costs at this rate for these reasons, because for a taxpayer to see, if a taxpayer is seeing money going towards, going back into the general fund from a restricted fund, yeah, again, so restricted is just right underneath on non-spendable. So the tight control over those dollars is very it's very watched. So having those solid methodologies in place would be very important. But if you were to use square footage again to allocate electrical, if you use it to allocate portions of like the general like the liability insurance on the building, I think there's something to be said there. But also considering things too, like administrative costs. So the time it takes yourself and Rose to do the bookwork for the township, well, or for the fire department rather. If your time while you're doing that is strictly being accounted for under your 253 and 215 department codes respectively, which you're salaried, so that's going to be the consistent factor. However, you could look at looking at percentages of your time that are used for working on this. Absolutely, yep. And if some of your costs were being covered by that fund, that so when I had looked at rent previously, I didn't consider it as rent in the truest form. It was really just like an allocation of overhead charge. And really with any of that, as long as you're able to have something put together where you're showing we're taking current costs and we're allocating them based on these factors, and you can show your work and stand behind it, it's generally fine. There's no real laws governing how you do that. You can get pretty creative with it.
I'm just curious, because we've not, I mean, it just said that you said we can't do that, so I just.
To calculate that overhead cost charge on a commercial lease rate is not comparing apples to apples. It doesn't work for what is
Makes sense.
trying to happen there, because it's not a commercial relationship. And even if it were based on a residential rate, it doesn't work. It doesn't work the same way. The hardest part about getting anything in place for that is really it's just getting agreement on how it's done. That's really the hardest part, and that's where sometimes it is easier for MGT to say, well, hey, based on all this and how we calculate, here's what you would have. But again, it is weighing out the cost of that versus putting those things into play, putting them into place yourselves. I would say that if the township would have, if the township would be allocating things like electric, insurance, other utilities, portions of salaries and wages related to administrative, I think that's going to cover a significant portion of those overhead costs. So really beyond that, I mean, the idea of rent is kind of unnecessary at that point because
Right, I think it was just
everything's
kind of all those things
It
lumped
was.
into one.
100% it
Right,
was.
so,
And,
okay.
and the increase in rates when we had seen that during the audit, it was just above and beyond what we could figure as being reasonable in terms of how it was being applied, or in terms of the dollars that the calculation was generating versus various degrees of spread of the costs, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. If you don't have anything further, that's really all I have for you.
All right, thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Take care.
And Rosalie roll-offs.
Give her 30 seconds, right?
Got 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
I'll just read and just speed read and that's it. Well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming here. I wrote out a speech so I wouldn't lose my thought process and repeat on end. So, if I look down, I'm reading. I'm not ignoring you guys. But thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I appreciate the work that you guys do because it's very important. And it's important that the township and other citizens know exactly what you do and how much work you guys put into it. And it's also great to see more than just the normal people here, or one person at least, but it's good.
You did bring her with you. Tell the truth.
But I like to provide a little bit of an overview of the main differences between a commission and a committee, and also share with you guys what the County Parks and Recreation Commission is doing. And hopefully you can kind of tell from what the county is doing, kind of see if that's something that you guys want to base off of, or see how the rules differ or are the same. So to start with, let's put it into context. So just a simple idea, very short, sweet. Imagine a park where you take your family or the kids and the kids are running and playing on the playground. The dog owners are watching their pets play in their little pens. And then you have a little friendly competition in the pickleball courts. That idea probably sounds pretty familiar with all of you guys, because that is something that you guys, a project that you guys have wanted, you guys have discussed it, you guys have supported it, and you guys have approved it. But once that decision was made, the next question technically becomes, how does that project actually move from you approved it, how does that move forward? So that is kind of how, like, who takes that next step? Does a committee or does a commission? And both of those are basically, that's how you move forward. So in most townships, the responsibility typically falls to one of the two groups, is the committees or the commissions. And both of them are very similar, but some of them are different. And most of the difference comes down to the authority and the role. A commission is a decision-making body. A committee is an advisory group. A commission is formally established by the township, usually through a resolution, and once in place, it has the authority to act. It makes decisions, adopts rules, and often manages its own budget. Commissions also develop a 5-year Parks and Recreation Plan, which is essential for long-term planning for securing grant funding. Without this, the township has a much harder time getting grants from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, which they provide a lot of grant money for townships and for parks to get better. A committee, on the other hand, serves in just an advisory role. They gather input, reviews ideas, and represents the voice of the community. It doesn't make final decisions, so that goes back to you guys to make a final decision. They don't manage the budget and they don't oversee any sort of operations. So to put it simply, commissions act, committees advise. And that's basically what separates them two. So why does it matter to you? The structure you choose helps define how projects move forward and how decisions are made and how consistently those efforts are carried out over time. Because if you're not consistent, then what's the point of doing anything? And consistency really does matter in any sort of situation that the township board does. If a township is focused on long-term planning, ongoing maintenance, and developing recreation opportunities, having a structured body with the ability to act provides consistency and direction. If the goal is to gather input, explore ideas, or engage residents around a specific project, an advisory committee can be a valuable tool. So now, enough with that. I can move forward onto what the county is doing, and they actually have quite a bit of work going on. And I'm going to touch on all 4 of them. So the County Parks Commission oversees 4 recreation facilities: Railroad Point Natural Area, Point Betsy Lighthouse, Zeta Price Park, and the Betsy Valley Trail. But that one is county managed, but the MDNR actually owns it. And so at the Crystal Lake outlet, it's right next to the Railroad Point Natural Area. We're hoping in a few years that will be added on to it. They're working on improving public access, and that includes putting a kayak launch in it. And right now, the commission has reviewed the project, and it's recommending to the Board of Commissioners for final approval. So construction can begin, I believe, end of May. But the funding is going to be very tight for this project, and the commission has talked about not doing a fancy kayak launch, just so we can bring the cost down, because it is essentially kind of being. The Board of Commissioners don't approve it, then it will come back to the commission and we have to figure out how to fix it. At Point Betsy Lighthouse, repairs to the apron and seawall are scheduled to begin this spring. It was discussed earlier that the lighthouse will be closed during the construction, but they decided to keep it open, and that will mean that parking is going to be very limited, but the beach and the lighthouse will be open to the public, which is kind of a good thing because that's a very tourist attraction for everyone. The Betsy Valley Trail is working with the Friends of the Betsy Valley Trail and the Management Committee. They are working on accessibility parking at Adams Road in Alberta while pursuing funding to pave the trail from Case Road to Thompsonville. That would make the 22-mile Betsy Valley Trail fully paved, which is it's a big goal of theirs, just so they can have the Joy to Ride bike all the way. You can do more activities on it if it is paved. In addition to those projects, the County Parks Commission has created a subcommittee that is focused on community outreach. The group is reviewing the commission's mission, identifying high priority items from the Parks and Recreation Master Plan, and developing a clear path forward to achieve those goals. And we have 5 goals, and we're trying to reach them in the 5-year plan. And we're also working on strategies to strengthen the communication with the townships and local partners. So if you guys need help, if you guys decide to do a commission, or even if it's a committee, you guys can ask the county Parks and Rec Commission for, hey, what about this idea? Do you guys know how to go about it? If you want, for example, the baseball fields, if you want to start a baseball team, do you know how we go about that? Who do we talk to? And so that we're trying to work together with townships to get that to work. And then the last most important thing that we're trying to do is work around a budget and try to prepare a budget for the Board of Commissioners so we can make sure that available resources and long-term priorities will be met at the commission spot. So to wrap things up, it doesn't matter what you choose to have an independent oversight of a commission or an advisory nature of a committee, but the ultimate goal remains the same. You guys want to create a space where families, pet owners, athletes, future generations, anyone, that they can go and have fun. But by choosing the structure that best fits your vision, it can ensure that our parks aren't just lines on a map, part of a community. And as always, the County Parks Commission is available for resource. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you.
Very well.
Yeah, sure. So I think it was the board's intent in January when we made a motion to create a commission. So it sounds like what the board needs to do next is have a resolution that states exactly what the body is and it's created under what authority. Is that basically what I've heard? We need a resolution to
Basically,
establish.
yes, but to make a resolution, you also have to have it under different public acts. There's many different acts that you can put it under. The letter that's included in there, that one has to go out to a vote to the public. That is not necessarily much needed, but that's an option for you guys to do. It's an option. I did send you guys an email. There's more acts, authorities in there that you guys can research, but that is completely however you guys want to set it up. If you guys want the commission to have more control, or if you say, hey, here's $10,000, that's your budget, work with that. And then we can get that. Okay, we're going to get these people to do new surface stuff in the playground equipment. We're going to use this much for new bathrooms in the park. We're going to do this to do this. And then the next budget season, we can say, okay, here's the maintenance that goes along with all of this, or here's maintenance of this, or here's this that we need to change. We take that, bring that back. A committee, on the other hand, wouldn't even get those options. Committees would say, okay, this is what the public wants. This is how much it's going to cost. Here's all these people on how to pay for it, basically. And then we bring it to you. You guys make that decision on what you guys want to do. And so if you do it under certain acts, that gives you the acts give you what needs to actually happen or what you can have the commission do. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I looked it up online and then I also spoke to MTA, and according to MTA, so a township has no alternative but to go out and get 6% of the registered voters in the township
That's the only way that they said
to
to
get
do
it on that you can do a commission, that you have to put it on a ballot. And so you got to get those to get it on a ballot. And then also to run it where it's independent, it has to be like the people on the board have to be bonded. And then basically you are responsible for your own checkbook and you're responsible for all of that. which is not highly recommended at the township level because it opens the door for embezzlement and all kinds of other things. So the recommendation at the township level, because we're not a large organization, so like at a county level, they have separate budgets for separate departments and they are in charge of their own. It makes sense to do it there. At the township, I don't know that it makes sense to go to those extremes. And I think that you're right, and it's frustrating because you're right that the pickleball courts were approved long before I was on this board, and I have continuously asked about them, and it just keeps getting kicked down the, we did finally order some new benches at the park, but we never removed the old ones. It's frustrating, things aren't getting done. So by my joining the park, I'm hoping to change that with volunteers, and I think we can still do that with a committee.
I don't
But you're
care,
right, you do
but,
have to then go to the board for permission of
But,
spending
yes.
the money, but we also are approving the amount that we would give you. We're just having a lot more and, outside,
And
Which-
with approving it, who's gonna execute the work? Like,
Yeah.
the committee? That would be the ideal thing.
so it depends on, I'm not sure.
We got that, yeah, so, we've got all of that under, we just got approved park members, so we can discuss it now, or we can do it at that point.
We're
but-
going to discuss it under there because
Yeah.
Okay.
it'd probably be better to discuss it under.
I
an
would like
action
to hear
item.
what the MTA, you started to say the MTA recommends.
States that the township has to do, get signatures and get on
So that's the only way they say they,
So that's the only thing I could find on this.
And I was advised to.
Can you forward that email to us?
Okay.
I didn't do it by
That's fine.
email, but they did recommend that we could discuss it with an attorney. But I personally think that's the better route to go, even if there is another loophole to do it. So, I mean, we can proceed and look into alternative ways to run it, but we can also discuss it when we get down to approved board members.
I don't, it, just when you guys made the motion in January as a
Right.
commission, that is what kind of sparked the whole
Right.
thing, like you can't just say I make a commission. There's
No.
more to it than just saying I make a commission. So that
You have
was
to make
what the whole
resolution to
thing,
Go out and get the signature.
go out.
Yep, and then you
So-
have to, yeah, and so there's a lot more involved in it. And I just learned this, I did let Ben know as soon as I read this and.
and I didn't know
read
if
it too,
anyone
and I
knew.
just didn't, yeah,
So that's why I also wanted to
yeah.
spread some knowledge a little bit. But ultimately, it's up to you guys, and you guys have to be on the same page
Right.
on what you guys actually want. And what do you want a committee to do? What are you going to say? They're gonna be in charge of X, Y, and Z, because if you don't set it up structurally sound, then you're gonna get back to approving things and nothing getting
You
done.
can still put those same kind of requirements of like so many days to
Yep.
put it into action in the bylaws. We can control the timing and getting things done better that way. And also, I think if we have committed people like yourself who have been, would hopefully stay on a committee versus a commission, I think that puts pressure on the board to follow through. And I think that, we have 3 new people on the board since things weren't followed through on. And so, I think that makes a big difference in that process too.
Yep, I just hope that it can be followed through, because that's a
Okay.
big thing, because even at the county, some things aren't being followed through.
Right.
And it's irritating as taxpayers that you're giving
Well,
money and it's not being followed
That's
through.
been one of the number one things that I've told Ben that's great about him being our supervisor is when he says he's gonna do something, he typically follows through on it. So I do think that that's gonna carry over and make a big difference and get things accomplished.
Yep, but I just wanted to inform you and then inform you on what the county's doing.
Right,
Thank
thank you
you.
for that, and I would, if you, I'd like to, can you copy your notes that you read? Cause I'd like to read the things you wrote about the places, I couldn't
Oh,
write
yeah.
fast enough.
Yeah, no, I can send you an email, cut and paste that.
Perfect,
For
thank
you.
you so much.
Yes. Yeah, any other questions? No? Okay, great, perfect.
Thank you. Previous minutes. Anybody have anything to add or change?
No, move to approve the March minutes as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Unpaid bills.
I just had the one comment.
I
I'm
am
so
not-
sorry.
I'm not the-
Don't be mad at me. It was in they have to have invoices and dates. That's our policy.
She doesn't
So-
care.
I
don't
know.
care.
I
That's
just
all
feel
my
bad.
husband, So you
So-
got my husband for that.
How can we,
So
can't,
I say we approve the unpaid, pulling out check number. You have the check, so you'd have to.
let's pending, yeah, okay, it's check number,
15,980.
I'm gonna say 15, I'm gonna write it as I do it, 15989. Okay,
And what was the amount for that check?
2405,
Is that the check number? Or 2405 is the amount?
$2,405.
Got ya. Okay.
Do you want to pull it or do
We
you
have,
want
I
to
think we
approve
approve
it?
it,
I
except we
well,
approve
we
pending.
we've got to approve that one separately.
Okay.
So we
okay.
have to approve all
Yeah.
unpaid bills pulling 15,989. So I make a motion, we approve all unpaid bills besides that one.
So that will change the total, so I'm gonna go word that total. So we're gonna
Then
approve
we
all
would have to
unpaid
approve that one
bills,
with
15,989.
not receiving them.
Yeah, I was gonna second it.
Okay, Mayor's gonna say- go ahead, second it.
Any discussion? Big roll call, please, Rose.
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Sights.
Yes.
Okay, now we talk about this one. that we
Well, I'll
just
make a
pulled.
motion that we approve, is it roll-off plowing? Is it the name on the check? 15,989 in the amount of $2,405, once we received an itemized
Dates.
billing, including dates.
And again, I'll second.
Any discussion? Big roll call, please, Rose.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Sights.
Yes.
Zelinski.
Yes.
Motion carries. Does anybody have any questions on the financial?
I do. Can we just move financial reports back up to consent agenda?
I feel like I would be okay with that, but about the time we do that, there's gonna be questions. So I think we can just quickly approve them.
Because we don't, do
We
we
don't
have,
even have
do
to,
we even have to approve them because we can't change them? We're not changing them,
right?
right?
Is this kind of what
That
we
is true.
talked about last meeting, is we would just see if anybody had any questions and then move on from it. So I think we can leave it where it's at and then just ask if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, just move on.
Okay, no questions?
Nope.
Moving on. Number 8, under unfinished business, we have the new policies and procedures.
I have not had a chance to.
That's fine, and there's no action on it tonight.
Good.
The only thing I wanted to do is get this back out in front of everybody so that we can follow through with this. It was started before my time. I would kind of like everybody to review Appendix A for the next meeting,
Mhm.
and we'll approve them one appendix per meeting.
Or can we write our own?
So Rose
You
and
can write
I,
your own.
as I
I'm fine with that.
said to the auditor, Rose and I talked about doing the first two on here.
Yep, and 3 and
and
4
three
are
we've already done.
3 and 4
Right, are
are
done.
done.
And
So
then,
really, it's just the remaining ones.
yeah, that we have to, so, but you guys are still gonna have to approve 1 and 2 once we make our changes to
Right.
what's in here.
Right.
Yep.
But I think we should go through and
Yeah, we already have those, yeah.
And go through them all.
finish this.
Well, me and
And I
Rose had the
know-
idea that we would assign them.
But I think it'll be a good way to get through this. We
Yeah, I
spent
think
money
so,
on
too.
it. I think we should
I agree.
complete it. You guys have many more notes than I have of what you guys have already discussed. Some of the changes are made on here. They gave us a version we can edit.
Can you send that, email that to all of us?
I can email it to everybody.
Thank you.
If that works for everybody, I will do that.
Can you just print one off and put it in my box?
Will you have it print off?
You have it printed off right there.
Oh, I thought you said there was something else that.
What?
No, we have a Word version that we can edit, so I will send it to everybody so they can put what they want in there so that we can try to get through these things. If there's anything, just reading through this list, that you think we don't want at all, I'm fine with that too, and we just completely cross them off. Like,
Yeah.
looking at password policies, kind of
Yeah.
like, for me, I don't want to change my password all the time because I won't remember it. But maybe it's a good thing to have.
Okay, so
Well, I think the one in here is a little overkill, but maybe there should be something in place.
Something. At least like some capitals, some numbers, letters.
No, I
something
know.
like
I mean,
that,
I mean,
but-
like change your password once a year. Sort of thing.
well, right
You can
now,
add 1, 2, 3, 4 for the quarters to your password.
right now, my email password has to change every 3
A lot of
months,
places make
driving
you.
me nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's.
And maybe it's more important
Microsoft.
for you two to do it versus the three of us. Because you guys.
Well, you have access to all of the
I don't
general,
have access to bank accounts or anything though.
no, but you have access to move money and funds on the general ledger. If somebody got in your computer, they could really
They
wreak havoc.
Yeah, like if your deputy supervisor decided.
Yeah. So, but I still have a hard
I mean-
time. I could change it all back. It wouldn't be fun, but. Yeah. So,
It's a thought. We
Yeah.
can just,
Okay.
review.
So we
We'll
don't
bring
need-
it back for next month
Yeah.
with
Yes.
all of our comments.
Yes,
Whatever.
please.
Okay.
And then we can make changes from there.
Thank you. Make that note to bring the actual book back.
Action items, 9A, approved deputy clerk hours.
I'd like to move to approve 250 hours for the year for my deputy clerk.
For the year? That's the total that you want for the year?
Fiscal year,
Just wanted to make sure I was hearing you
yeah,
correctly.
250 hours for deputy clerk for the fiscal.
Is this the continued training or is this just for her to work side by side with you?
To work side by side, plus the training that she has to go to too. Not for, because I'm not training my deputy to completely take over the world.
Okay.
It was a fun, okay.
So that seems like it works, because I think that's figured at $62 an hour, so she's.
60
Well, that's why I just wanted to make sure that you approving 250 hours was still under the 1,550.
Oh,
$15,500.
Oh,
So that's
yeah.
fine, you're way
yeah,
under.
no, yeah.
Yeah, we've already approved her wage for the year,
Okay,
for the fiscal year.
right.
So I
right.
just wanted to make sure that it wasn't.
Yeah,
like
that was,
above.
that just covers if
Okay.
there's any,
That's fine.
So did you say that as a motion?
I
and
said
are
that
we
as a
talking-
motion and we discussed it.
Yeah,
without
so
a
we're
second.
doing that wrong, so I'll second.
Okay.
And we'll pretend like
Any other discussion?
we did that.
So since we do have a line item in that says 15,500, is this motion needed?
Yes.
We have to approve the hours
Okay.
every
Okay.
time
Thank
for it,
you.
because you could not like somebody and say you only get an hour a month or something. So just-
Board has to approve money going out. And there are 3 tiers of deputies, one that doesn't work except to come sign a check every once a year maybe, to one who can take over for the clerk.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around,
So,
from a budget standpoint,
Mhm.
we approved a budget.
yes, sir.
Right.
It had a line item in there for the deputy clerk. Why then do we have to approve the hours?
Because it's the law.
It's the statutory requirements of a deputy. I think it's right in there, isn't it, that it says they have
It
to
is,
be
it is
approved?
odd,
Yeah,
because we already
time out.
It is.
approved the money amount,
yeah.
and you would think that they would be able
Yeah,
to work
so-
up until they're out of their
I
dollars.
mean, we're throwing statutory around now with hours. Is it a statutory requirement that we have to approve hours?
It's the board,
well?
the board's responsibility to approve hours. That is it.
A lot of townships don't allow their deputies, and so that's what you're basically approving here. A lot of townships, and it's anywhere across the spectrum. They allow them only to work in the absence, and that's what we used to do here. They can only come in and work in the absence of us being in the office. And now so this is basically, that's why I asked that question. This is now changing it to where they can work side by side at any time with the clerk. And so that's what we're approving basically. So she could spend that, so basically the money's approved there, but previously it was approved basically for her to only come in for training and or to cover Rose's absence during advertised office hours. So now we're allowing her to come in at any time she chooses to work side by side.
And what I found, just so you know, that working with BSNA, if you don't do it consistently, you forget. And that's what I was trying to, so that in the event, you know, Therese would be here, but my deputy would be here to write those AP checks, and Therese could help if something happened. And that way they would both be able to know kind of what's going on. Therese doesn't know how to write AP checks either.
Yeah, I do. I do it every month.
Oh, yes, you do. That's right. You
So
write
then this
checks.
naturally leads to,
Yeah.
what is my next question?
What is your next question?
We have two deputies, so there's not another motion for the other deputy. So if we have to approve hours for one deputy, why do we not have a motion for the other
You
deputy?
do.
Because the treasurer has not asked to have that done yet.
We already did approve mine in the past, and currently my deputy just quit. So now I'm in the process of looking for a new deputy.
Okay,
Oh.
but this was based on a fiscal year.
This is based on fiscal year. Mine is.
So once Therese has
A new deputy on board, we will have this motion in front of us too.
Likely, maybe not.
See,
Decided I have to
that's,
train him.
that's the part I'm confused
Well,
on.
because
I mean,
we,
it's gotta be one way or the
no, it
other.
doesn't, because this is the part that is very confusing to most people. Rose is the only boss of the deputy clerk, the only one. The only thing the board can control is what hours and pay rate they get. That's the only thing. She can fire them, she can,
I can
whatever.
stay at home every
Replace
day
them,
and they
she
can
could stay
come
every
in.
day and have them come in, and I am the only one who can pick my deputy, and it's the same thing. I can pick them, I can say what I would like them to be in my office and what I'd like them to be able to do, which, but then the board has to approve that. They have to approve how many hours they can be here,
So we will see
whether
that.
they have BSNA training or not, and how much we pay them. Because we do have a right to not allow them access to the computer systems.
And when Ben gets his deputy supervisor, we'll go through the same process
Okay.
with that.
So that.
Right. That's what I wanna see, is that we're applying it evenly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Haven't singled out a deputy.
Right.
So if we're
Right.
doing it for one deputy for a fiscal year, this
Yeah, we
needs
do
to
it
be,
all.
But again,
See,
so that would
Therese
depend
asked
on
for
like if
hers through tax season,
right,
which
I asked
goes
for extra
through-
hours through tax season.
through March
yeah, I
and
remember
April.
that was
So,
last fall,
Yep,
but that was for a specific need.
Right.
Yes.
correct.
So that leads to another question for me. How long have you been without a deputy then?
Just about a week,
Not too long.
yeah.
Oh,
But I'm allowed time to find one.
oh, sure.
And I have a plan in motion.
I just didn't know that at one point you did not have a deputy.
Yeah.
I didn't think you would care. So I didn't think to call you.
And you got my, yeah.
Well, I like to know what's going on.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
Can you take roll call, please, Rose?
Zelinski,
Yes.
Sights,
Yes,
Worth, yes, Nelson,
Yes,
Miller.
Yes.
motion carries. Approve brining.
I have a question before we talk
Okay.
approval. What is the 8.5 overhead? Is that,
It's their
Paying for the-
administrative costs.
Yeah.
okay, paying the drivers or whoever?
The
Okay,
county to organize
Yep.
all of that, yeah.
okay.
And then we just need to decide, I think in the past, we've done one brine.
Yes.
Mhm.
There is option for a second.
We've always kind of waited to see what our summer is like, whether or not we need the second.
Well, we can't get the second Brian if we don't approve it now.
I don't think we've had any complaints about not doing the second one, correct?
Depends on the road. We'll get complaints.
Yeah, there's been years that we haven't had a second Brian.
It's been many years. We didn't have one last year, did we?
We did. We did. I don't think.
No, we
No, we didn't.
no, we didn't.
Then they did your road by,
Then, yeah, then they did it.
Elmira might have done your road.
Could be. I mean, it was a road commission. I don't know, the township behind
Because
it.
see, like Douglas Road,
Yeah, that's,
we're paying for half of it.
well, it's a half mile long. That's, I think, what that is.
No, it's 0.21 miles,
Okay,
but we're paying half
okay.
because Elmira will pay the other half.
Double.
That's why you get double.
Lucky you.
Okay.
I'll make
so
the
we should
motion.
just take them right off of there if they're already getting done by Elmira.
I move the Inland Board authorize Benzie County Road Commission's first brine application expected to begin mid-May to early June, with costs split 50-50 between Inland Township and the Benzie County Road Commission, with an estimate of $10,774.14 to Inland Township.
You've given that to me, aren't you? I'll second that. And then you're gonna hand me that paper.
Second.
I second it.
Okay. Any discussion? You take a roll call, please, Rose.
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Sights.
Yes.
Well, we voted to appoint at our unofficial
Sign that.
parks meeting to appoint, people to positions. But I'm wondering
think
if
we
we
should-
should hold off until we actually make a decision whether we're going with the commission or if we're gonna try to, follow through with that, or if we're gonna go the other way. And, cause I know that the way that we were doing it, or considering doing it, also raised some concerns for me because we turned away people technically from being on the board, right? So we have 5 seats on the board or commission. I'm sorry. I'll probably keep saying board instead of commission. So we have 5 people on there. So once that word was said, some of the people who wanted to be parks members, and I don't think it was about the money. I think they just figured oh, you filled the positions, so you don't need more members of the parks. Whereas I'm of the belief that the more the merrier, because you will have times that certain people can and can't attend certain events. Like Ryan, who is very instrumental in setting up everything, couldn't actually be at the Easter egg hunt.
Right.
So
I know that's
I
one of the
don't-
things, if you have a commission, you can't be remote and attend the meetings.
No, he can't. He can be remote and attend the meetings, can he? He just can't
He can
vote or
vote.
say anything. But he can listen remotely and but you're not supposed to do that on a committee either. So either way, that's the same rule. But what I'm saying is, because that causes things like that, his whole job revolves around a lot of travel. I don't want to not have him on the committee because he is a very big asset.
Yeah.
So I would like to see more members, and I would like those people to all have a vote in the decision making
And
of
that's
where it goes, so that then they feel more invested in the
And I
process.
think you'd have that more if you left it as a committee rather than a
I
commission.
agree.
Because we did that on Fire Association. We had 10 people there and someone could make the motion and someone could second it and we would all be there and we would all approve it. Didn't have to be chair, vice chair, they're just
Yeah.
like that. They were all committee all members.
We
So I
did
think we
have-
should abolish the commission and do a committee and appoint the membership now.
No, I think that we should,
Does the committee pick their own members?
the committee votes in people. And so I don't
We
know,
have to
so we
approve
have to first come up with the bylaws and what we're gonna do that's my take of how it should be. You may have a different opinion.
We have to appoint a committee in order to get bylaws done. You can't just do it by yourself.
Right.
Because we already have bylaws for Parks Committee.
Yeah, but we're not committing those people to any amount. How can we appoint to people? Okay, how do we appoint people to a committee that has no rules, no terms, no things?
We currently have bylaws.
Currently have bylaws, but you appoint them so that
And
they
then you
can
can
get
change your
together and
bylaws.
Oh,
create the
okay.
bylaws.
So under the previous Parks Committee bylaws.
Yes.
Or you don't, if we didn't have any, we could still appoint the committee and the committee could make the bylaws. That's why you appoint the committee, so that they
They
can
can all have
go
Okay.
ahead and input that.
Gotcha. All right.
So-
I've never been, I've always joined already established
So let's-
committees, so.
Let's unestablish the commission. Is my opinion.
So I make a motion that we stick with the Parks Committee and we use the current park bylaws for the time being. And I don't know what that says about,
Wait,
I don't know what that says about appointing
okay.
people.
First of all, since this isn't.
Can we
you haven't-
table this?
Since you haven't completed this, what we need to do first is we need to get rid of the commission. We need to make
We
a
did do a
motion.
resolution,
I
so
move
it's
that
not,
we
You need to
abolish the
make
Parks
a-
Commission.
okay, I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is that necessary since we didn't do a resolution?
You had a
Yeah, we
motion.
still
We made a
have-
Okay, you made a
on
motion.
January
Okay.
12th.
Any
All right.
discussion?
Nope.
Will you take roll call, please, Rose?
Yeah, because there was,
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
yes.
Worth, yes, Sights.
Yes, motion carries.
Okay, so now back to the question, I didn't even think that might be a possibility to use those bylaws, so I did not bring them or have them. I don't have them. You have them?
Yes, I do. I
So-
just found them. I literally
Can we
found
take
them
a
today.
5-minute break and see what it says about how we appoint?
Well, no, we
Give
can
me-
just,
Boy, are you efficient.
There
I
you go.
try to be.
but we can create the committee
Actually,
and appoint
actually, all this is,
Ryan, Rosalie, are you Sharon?
Shannon.
Shannon, my apologies.
I think
And
that's
Therese.
all pages you have to look at. Is that 105? Maybe that's something else.
This is the current ones to replace these ones.
As long as I get the spot. This is what she just handed me. That
Yeah,
was.
that's fine.
But this says revised April 14th, 2024 to replace those bylaws.
Oh, it did. See,
Well,
that,
you
I didn't
were
find, I
on
didn't
there.
find that one.
Where did you find this one?
Number. Somehow I ended up with it, I don't know.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
there's probably in the book that are in the storage room, which I didn't go get. I just pulled
So-
them out of my hat somehow.
Were you making a motion saying?
No.
No,
we
that's what I
adopted.
suggested that we do is.
But I
now we
think
can
even with
create
having
the
these
committee.
bylaws, this is
and
like,
appoint the
this is a
people.
starting point. I think a motion could be made, go back to a Parks Committee with the previous bylaws, and then we can appoint the rest of the members tonight. I don't want to hold it up anymore because we're coming into spring, the park needs to get cleaned up,
I agree.
tidied up and everything. And then as we move on, you guys can have a meeting and you can change your bylaws
If
at
you
that
want.
point, if you want, or you guys could stick with what is currently there.
Okay, I just wanted to see if there was something written of how we pick the committee members. So it says the committee is created by the Inland Township Board, reports to the board and subject.
In the original ones, it says that the committee brings the recommendations to the board and the board appoints them.
So we'll
But we
just go
have
with the
to
5
have
that we
committee
have.
members.
So, okay, so you might have to help me here. So we
Okay, wait a
have,
minute, let's.
I make a
start-
motion
Okay, to create the
to
parks.
create the Parks Committee following the Parks and Recreation Committee bylaws revised April 14th, 2024. The starting members will be Ryan Persine as the
No, we don't need
Just
to know that.
members.
That's
Just
the
Oh,
committee.
just members.
That's
Okay.
the
Just
committee
members.
Okay,
that
so
says
it's
that.
members.
Ryan
Ryan
Persing.
Persing.
Ryan Presser, it's PRE.
Okay, who's the next one?
Certain.
Okay.
Rosalie Roloffs.
Can you just put Rosie roll-offs instead? I'm sorry, I really don't like my full name.
How many roses here, so we gotta use your real name, sorry.
Okay.
Shannon, I can't think of your last name.
Shannon Papist.
Can you spell that for Rose?
Papist.
There you go.
I have Pappas in my family line.
Myself.
You want me to put myself?
Yep.
Oh, figure.
There, now you're on it. Amanda. And that's
Amanda L.
Amanda
L.
Live in.
I have to look her up in
Yeah,
the
it's a tough one.
TVF to get it spelled right.
Ryan's wife.
I'll second.
Then seconds it.
Any discussion? Take roll, call, please.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Bites,
Yes.
Zelinski.
Yes.
Okay.
Before the end of the night, would you kindly make me a copy of these?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Just remind me.
Well, then give them to me and I'll give
Okay.
them back to you after I make a copy. 'Cause otherwise I'll forget to. Thank you.
Approve, PC master plan release draft for mandatory public review.
I have several questions and I'm sorry, and I'm thinking that I read the things right, like the concerns that I have regarding some of the action plans should be addressed now or at the actual public hearing?
Up at the public hearing.
That's the purpose of the public
That's the
hearing.
purpose of the public.
And we've had 9 weeks
Yeah.
since we received the draft.
But the board is not supposed to be advising the planning commission until a certain
Not
time.
advising.
Or saying or things. That was my understanding and that's what I was led to believe.
But
That
I
we weren't
thought
really supposed to go and
you're-
give our input
But it's public
But we
review.
can
You're
as the
public.
public.
in a public hearing
Yes.
or at a board meeting. That's the only places.
No.
So-
What he's actually asking is just for this to go out to the public to look at. That
Yes.
the public gets to comment when we have the open meeting for whether or not we want to accept it. But right now, it's just asking for permission to send it out for people to look at.
Okay, so my concern with that is if there's things in there that maybe some of us or, like 3 of us strongly agree with, why would we present that to the public?
So I can address some of that. Several of the board members got back with me prior to the March meeting. Edits were made both from the board members' perspective and from the planning commission members' perspective. When we got to the March meeting, the board asked for more time. Sarah Kirk, the consultant, said the next planning commission meeting is scheduled for a week from that particular board meeting. So you have until Friday to let the planning commission know if you have any changes or edits. Planning commission nor I heard anything from the board on any edits, changes, or anything like that. So here we are 4 weeks later.
And there is these changes, correct?
But my
And those-
understanding,
th-
yeah,
those
I
were the
did read those.
Yes.
So my understanding again is that, and maybe I misunderstood that because, and I guess I didn't catch that Friday bit, but my understanding is that the board's input is not supposed to sway the planning commission and they're supposed to be kept separately. So my giving my recommendations to them is like the board is seen as the board controlling the planning commission. So
I
it's
don't
only
see it
supposed.
like that.
Well,
It's-
the
Not
planning
in
commission
this
laws do.
capacity, not in this capacity. I see it as you're a citizen because you are a member of the public when you are not
At this table.
here and.
Well, we
the
had
the others aren't
conversations
around.
previously at the planning commission meeting about having too many board members at a meeting for that very same reason. So I am not sure what the laws are. I'm not sure that I agree with that, but that's fine. Move it forward.
Okay.
And then you can always write your recommendations.
it really probably doesn't matter. So
It
we'll move
might.
on.
You don't know that.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I move the Inland Township Board authorize the release of the draft 2026 Inland Township Master Plan for the mandatory 63-day public review and comment period and distributed per MPEA, Public Act 33 of 2008 requirements made available at the Inland Township Hall and Inland Township website with a public hearing to be held on or after the conclusion of the 63-day period.
I'll second that motion, which he will pass over to you, I'm sure.
Yes, he will pass it over.
Any discussion?
Do we have a date picked for that public hearing?
The public hearing that would follow the 63.
Yep.
So it has to go, I can tell you precisely.
No, I'm just asking if you as a planning commission picked a date. Yes or no?
No.
When,
Okay.
if approved today
Yeah.
by the board,
60.
we would advertise to the public, we'd send a notice to the newspaper by 4/21 for a 4/23 record Patriot edition, send notification letters in the mail to notify a list by 4/21, and 4/23 marks the start of the 63-day review period ending on 6/25/26.
That, 4/23 is a Thursday. If you submitted that to the Record Patriot on the 21st, it will not go into their paper until Wednesday, the 29th.
When would it have to be submitted?
It would have to be submitted first AM Monday, the 20th.
They changed their publication date though to Thursday?
I didn't get a notice.
I thought that's what they
Say
said.
they
That's,
did.
yeah, because I got the e-edition and I'm pretty sure they changed their mailing.
The e-edition, but
No, I
paper?
think for all paper editions have been changed to Thursday.
then if that's the case, usually they send out a letter.
I'll circle
Not
back
the
with Sarah.
e-edition.
This is verbatim from her on what next steps
Okay,
are.
so if
approved
that's the
today.
case, then yeah, they will,
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
Yeah.
Worth, yes, Sights.
Yes. Motion carries. Planning Commission members and zoning administrator to attend MTA planning and zoning.
No.
It seems like it because there's a lot.
Yeah, I thought we did last month.
There's a lot of.
Not this one. Let's see it in here. We appointed John Kramer for more term, but there's,
I think it was a couple of meetings, so.
but that was to attend the other
Like I said, all this.
zoning
citizen
administrative
planner?
thing, something, I don't know, but this is something different that is
Okay.
coming up.
Was there a second to that motion?
There was no motion.
Well, there is no motion.
The Inland Board approved our zoning administrator and planning commissioners to attend MTA's planning and zoning primer seminar.
I second.
Any discussion? You take roll call, please, Rose.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Sights.
Yes.
Worth, yes, Nelson,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Next, we have the insurance. Fire chief, the clerk, and myself met with them just to go over everything, get them the proper information that they needed. We have all the pricing, comparisons to mimic who we currently have.
Now, I liked how you got that set up with the comparisons of what we have now and what we're gonna get. What I really thought was good and, or what is offered is accident and sickness on this, and it actually includes the board member.
That's very reasonable.
So if we went with $200,000, it would cost us, and if we got the volunteer optional plans, it would cost us $2,161 for the entire year for every member of the fire department and the board. Or you could go with 100,000 for 1540, and so we would be covered for accident and sickness.
That's if you get in a car accident on your way to a board meeting and you get killed, there's money that goes to your family. Vendors are out and they get in an accident or a building collapses on them. They have something that their family can fall back on because they're missing people. And for the price, I think it's very reasonable.
Yeah, and for the increased price, I think that, for me, that's a benefit for our fire department to have them be able to have, I mean, heaven forbid, we haven't had an accident, a major accident that I'm aware of in 10, 12 years that I know of. And,
Yeah.
you know, but that's my opinion and what I liked about it, plus these guys were very, you can talk to them, you email them,
They'll
yeah,
come
get
in and
them,
talk
they
to you.
contact you. We're having trouble with our current insurance company, wants to get involved with that. Ben's tried to get in touch with me many times, and I've sent him emails and we get no response back anymore, so.
Even a lot of it too, if, say the building collapsed right now, we're limited at 250,000. We got $12,000 right here just in this new equipment.
Yeah, on
to
this
stream
this insurance.
that
is
we
12.
currently had. The other one, it's replaced.
And this also has, if we were to have somebody sue us, there's, no, we're just discussion right now.
You
No,
can
you can
discuss
discuss
some
before.
first and then discuss. Remember that meeting we went to, that training? It's okay to discuss a little before and then make a motion.
But this has coverage that that's much better than what we currently have.
And it can start, it would have like an effective date of May 1st through the end of this year and then start up again in January. So that we're actually going by a normal year, for like work comp.
Right.
Instead of trying to figure out payroll from May 1 to April 31st, then we can just do a printout. January through December. And our liability, we could do the same way, where it's effective January through December, and we're not waiting, so we know when our bill is actually gonna come out.
I think they said even a lot of different townships in our area are switching to this. I believe Elmira is. There's several others that are doing this because it seems to be a good plan. So
And they don't do anything but fire departments and townships.
Well, I want to thank you guys for putting all this together and
We did,
color coding it.
the wonderful
Oh,
company
really?
did that,
They did
yes, yes.
Well, it made it really easy to see what you're talking about. You know, it's side by side, dollar for dollar, and yeah.
yeah, and the dollars really aren't that much more.
No.
They said normally a normal insurance company prices will go up 10% every year. I think they said they're normally 3%. So in a few years, we're gonna be money ahead with a lot better insurance.
Didn't this one have a vanishing deductible? Is that my personal insurance?
If you go 3 years without a claim, you won't have to pay your deductible.
Deductible, yes.
And that goes for every separate thing. So it's 3 years with the auto, you don't have to. 3 years for liability or, other things, can be split out.
Ben's chair breaks.
I know a lot of departments downstate have it, and these guys kind of look to pay you. instead of looking to not pay you, which is weird to say for an insurance company, but because it's fire department, they're paying, they're gonna pay it. They want to pay you to get it done. They know what the stuff's done, everything, so.
So I move that we approve to change our insurance and go from VFIS to Galt-Felter.
It's
It's BFIS and
BFIS.
Glatfelter.
It's all one name.
Oh, okay.
We currently have, I think you said Mimic.
Power plant, Michigan.
We have travelers and.
Is the workman's comp,
and,
and then
yeah,
Michigan Municipal
Yeah.
Insurance Planners or
Michigan
something.
Township plan.
Yeah.
So hopefully I said that all right.
You go to change insurance and go to PFIS. Flat filter is,
Right.
okay.
I'll second.
Discussion.
Yeah, so did we budget enough money or do we have to make another budget adjustment to make this? I know it's not much, but this increase. And then also, I thought of this money out of general fund.
We will be, let's see, let's see. The fire department has a portion. Oh, that's work comp. But it's divided liability. The fire department has their own, just like it is now, it's separated. The fire department pays a certain portion of the liability insurance and we pay.
Do we have to have that in writing according to the auditor, or that was just here, how we calculate that percentage?
No, the insurance company calculates that percentage. We don't do it. It's separated like that. And what'll
Right,
happen
that
is
makes
since we
sense.
did pay our insurance, we'll get refund from the other that will go back into that. So yeah,
Do we know if we get a full refund?
we
You
won't
get
get
it per month, just like
full
auto
refund.
insurance or whatever.
And if we take this plan just May through December, we won't be paying a full year anyway until for next year. We
Should
should.
be good.
We should actually have extra money. Because we're getting money back plus the money that was budgeted.
Did we budget though for the exact amount of the cost? That was my question.
So we paid last year's budget for this.
Oh, and
So,
we budget already.
so
for
let's
this
say
year.
we've spent $20,000
Yep.
and we get a rebate, we're gonna have whatever we budgeted plus the remainder of that 20,000. Any other discussion? We take roll call, please, Rose.
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski.
Yes,
Ward, yes, Sights.
Yes. Motion carries. Approve clerk and deputy clerk to attend MTA election.
I will move that we approve, again, this is the question first. The place that you're going to go to, which one is it?
I gotta go to jail. I gotta go to Breckenridge, but that's too far.
So now
I just wanna go to the.
I move that we approve the clerk and deputy clerk to attend the MTA election ready. Meeting at Treetops Resort. June 17th, 2026.
Second.
Any discussion?
I was mileage. Yeah, I was going to include mileage and is there food provided?
Lunch is provided, lunch is
Okay,
provided.
and do I have to wait to
And mine,
add that to the motion?
You just make a second motion.
Yeah, I'll make it second.
okay, Ted.
Any discussion? We take roll call, please, Rose.
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski. Yes. Ward, yes, Sights.
Yes. Motion
Okay,
carries.
I move that we approve to pay mileage. Every back.
I'll second. Any discussion? You take roll call, please.
Miller,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Site, Zelinski.
Yes.
Approve hourly education training, pay for board of review, land division, planning commission, zoning administrator, zoning board of appeals.
And it's the opposite way now. So in the last payroll cycle, I paid Rosalie and Mary Dew
Yeah.
the same pay as I would have paid them for 4 hours of planning commission.
Board of
because-
review.
Or board of review, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As that was, I had no information provided to me for what their hourly wage was, and by the time I
We didn't,
realized
yeah.
that was different, we didn't have anything approved or time to do that, and I did not want to withhold their pay. So they were paid, I believe it worked out to $22.50 an hour. Which is, again, the class was 4 hours. It's the same as attending a board of review session is how I looked at it. It just Rose has to classify it differently in the books. But Rose thought we should get that officially approved.
So and since everyone's pretty much base pay is $20 an hour, right?
Most of them.
Most of them, I think.
But board of
22.
review training is technically always 4 hours, if I'm correct. And so, to me, it just seems a logical way to pay them as like one session of the board of review.
Right, well, because we used to have the $60 per diem for half day, and so that's how we always did it. And when we transferred over to integrated, it wasn't.
I mean, I can create an
So-
hourly space, so it doesn't really matter to me.
So I'm thinking hourly, yeah.
We can move them
Start
all
that.
to $20 an hour for training hours,
Education.
education, training.
Okay, I have another
Or
question.
do yours.
We're including the planning commission in this, but doesn't the planning commission already have money set aside in their budget for the education?
They do, but they don't have a rate. Remember, we quit doing per diem
Yeah. Oh, so this is asking to approve an hourly rate.
for a rate for their educate, yes,
Gotcha.
ma'am.
So when
This
we
rate is
approved
missing.
taking away the per diem, we approved that salaried people, like they should
Yeah.
want to do their training, so they don't get paid to go to training, because that's all part of holding your position.
Mm-hmm.
And then people who are just on a committee or a thing,
Wanna
get
go.
paid for their time,
Yep,
as if they were working
And-
hourly in the office.
right, and,
Yeah.
and that like includes zoning administrator, because he's a hired, he's not.
Yeah, I was just concerned because I didn't see approve hourly rate for education. I was just thinking budget wise, that it
Yes.
was in the budget. So my misunderstanding there.
So what's a fair rate? I mean, I know Teresa and I talked, but what does everybody else?
I think $20 is fair.
I make a motion that we pay the Board of Review, Land Division, Planning Commission, Zoning Administrator, Zoning Board of Appeals, $20 an hour for their training, education hours. It's not salaried? Is that how we want it? We have not been paying anybody
Let's-
salaried for education, so we would have to go
Second
back.
first.
That was all part and didn't stop. It was all one continue run-on sentence.
Why?
Well, I'm not putting that all in a motion.
If not, why?
I'll second.
What are we seconding? So she said, pay for board review, land division, plan commission, zoning administrator,
Everybody on this
DBA,
list.
$20 an hour for training education hours.
For non-salaried employees. It's simple.
Zoning administrator's salaried.
Right, so
Yeah.
he shouldn't get it either.
So we need, okay.
You don't need that last little phrase because this is just
But we've had zoning administrators paid by the hour before, so we could include him in there if we include non-salaried employees in the motion.
I see. Okay.
And Benson. Okay,
Any discussion? Take roll call, please, Rose.
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Mm-hmm.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Sights.
Yes, motion carries. Approve stopping the timekeeping program.
That's on you. I can't explain
I didn't ask for
timekeeping.
it to be on the.
We talked about that, remember?
We did, but I didn't, yeah, okay. So the timekeeping program, the idea was that it would not create a whole lot of extra work, as it has done, hours of extra work. Because we can't seem to get anybody to require anybody to actually use the program. And so, and the idea was that then we were definitely in full compliance with the ESTA laws. So we have a couple choices as far as I see. We either establish a policy that requires employees, but what do we do if they don't and they refuse? So it ends up where it's just a lot of input, but then, so there's other ways to document the ESTA hours. One is which that the payroll person keeps signed timesheets of all employees that are then signed by their department head, authorizing that payment to come out of there. And I think we paid, what, 175 or 160 for the timekeeping program last month? So we're paying this money, and technically we're not using it.
I think.
So it's separate, it's two different things we're paying for. We're paying for the payroll, which is going great. That I've not had a single error other than the one I created last month, which I don't see as an error. No, it was really. Or we figure out a way that we enforce the timekeeping program. And I don't really honestly see that happening.
I also don't want to lose any employees in making a policy that they I can tell you on day-to-day work. They're few and far between, and you lose them, you don't get them back.
I understand, but I also understand that sometimes it's part of being a grown-up and having a job, so it's a conflicting thing to me.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna leave it on the board to make that decision.
Well, then I'll move the Inland Board approve ceasing the timekeeping program.
I'll second. Any discussion?
So if we cancel that program, we still could demand that there be some kind of time sheet
Yeah.
that we would do here rather than paying someone else to do.
We would have to, correct, we would have to make a policy, or we would have to make a motion to approve that here as well.
Well, we already have timesheets.
We have the timesheets, but we don't have anything that says employees have to fill them out
Yeah,
and sign
yeah.
them.
Okay,
Oh, well, I tell mine they have to. I tell my deputies
Well,
they
they
have to
want-
fill out.
Right, like, because that can be done at any time. It doesn't have to be done while they're
Yeah.
racing out the door. So,
okay. Just want to make sure I understood that correctly. So I'm ready to vote.
was there a second?
And because it's money that we're not spending anymore, do we need a roll call or is it
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's better
Roll
to
call,
be
please.
on the safe side.
Yeah.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Sights,
Yes,
Worth, yes, Nelson,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
motion carries.
Now, do we,
I think somebody needs to make a motion that says that they'll do time cards.
I
we
make
need
a
to
motion
add
that
it
we
to our
require-
policy.
Well, we'll have to make a policy for that in the future too, but we need to cover ourselves for now. I make a motion that we require all hourly employees to fill out and sign a weekly timesheet that is given monthly to the payroll person that is also signed by their department head.
You're gonna make it.
I'll second.
I do believe ours isn't our form weekly?
No, our form is monthly.
Mine is 2 monthly, the one I got is monthly too.
But doesn't it have a spot for like every day of the week?
Yep, but that's not a weekly, and you said weekly and turned into you.
I said,
Turned in monthly though.
So they fill it out.
Yeah, weekly and turn it in monthly.
We can change that to monthly if that's
I
easier.
thought that's what you said. Fill 'em
I
out
said a weekly sheet.
and turn them in monthly.
Yeah, film, yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, but our form isn't weekly. You said a weekly sheet turned in monthly. It's a monthly sheet.
Well, for you to, I mean, you should review it every week, Dayton, because you should make sure,
The
because
second.
on the end of the month, do you remember what happened at the first of the
Yeah,
month?
'cause I have
Technically.
a whole sheet of when they
Okay,
review.
but then rows, do other people, like their department head, should be reviewing them on a weekly basis?
I don't, it keeps blacking
I
out, so I
don't
don't even know if it's
remember,
on.
or when my deputy was here all the time, I don't remember what she did on that day, right? I trust that she's honest. Really, we should have some accountability. Right? I mean, I don't know. I've never worked anywhere that.
Well,
didn't-
I'm just, since
Somebody
Ben
else
did,
well,
fill
the
'em
head
out
office.
weekly and then you get paid bi-weekly.
I've been on salary for so long at most
Could
places
you
that
read
I've
it,
been at.
read back the motion so we know
Yeah, just a second.
exactly?
but my issue with that is you want them to fill it out weekly and turn it in monthly. So can we use the monthly timesheet, but they fill it out each time they come
You
in?
can
is
initial it at the end of the week.
what they should be doing, and
I don't care.
no, this is what I'm wondering. I mean, because my deputy works maybe once a week, so I have to sign her timesheet. So I have to have a signature portion, a signature line for each week she works. Is what we would have to create then. I'm just saying, and I don't have an issue with
I
this. I
don't
just want to
care.
know
It's
what.
what they've been giving you what you want. Cause they've been all filling out, they've been
That's
trying to
fine.
do the timekeeping, filling
Again,
out the.
as long as you're
sheet.
convinced, as long as Rose is convinced, as long as anybody who's supervising I mean, I'll leave it up to the department heads
I
how
will-
they're done.
I will
They just need
create
to
a
be
new
signed by both.
timesheet that will allow for our signatures to be on there.
Well, I
on
don't
a
think we
weekly
have to do
basis.
it weekly. I mean, I think he's right. It doesn't have to be done
Well-
weekly. I think that should be a decision of the department head, how they do that. So
Okay.
like, if you want your deputy to sign it weekly, if I want mine to sign it weekly so that I have a good track of what
Right,
he's
so
actually working, or if he wants his signed monthly, I could care less. They just
Okay.
need to be signed.
What is our pay period and when do you want the timesheets?
The pay period is in order to get paid on the last business day of the month is always 3 working business days. That's not gonna change. 3 working business days before the end of the month, before the pay date.
So, but that does change because if 1 month is
So
the
3
20.
working days if it's a holiday.
So let's set a date and it's always the 24th to the 24th?
We
or
can't do
whatever.
that.
Why not?
Because just what you were gonna say, because the 24th, because first of all, like the 24th does not allow, if the 28th of February, for example, is on a Monday, there are not 3 business working days between those days. They need 3 working days if we're not using the timekeeping program. See, the problem was resolved with the timekeeping program where we could have gone from the 1st to the 1st. Doing it manually entry, it is not solved. So we have to continue to get all the information to them. They need 3 working business days to do it. So there are many days that it's the 30th of the month. But if the 30th falls on a Saturday, then that changes that date that we need that information by, right? Because it changes the date of the actual payroll. So it needs to be, you need to look at a calendar. It's the only way around doing the timekeeping program. If this month, for example, the Thursday is the 30th, so 3 business days, if you want your check on the 30th, all information has to be entered by noon on the 27th.
Can we just say the third Thursday of the month?
No,
Or not
We can
really?
change the pay date.
we can
I
change
mean,
the
we can
pay date,
change the
which I
pay
think
date.
is great. You'd have all your timesheets turned in by the
But everybody
last day
wanted
of the
to,
month, and your payday is no later than the 5th.
so
that
I
gives
was
you
told
plenty of
before
time.
that you had to be paid in the month that you worked by law, so
Who said that? May I
that
ask?
I thought that was, and I don't know what that is, but that's how it's always been. We've always
how it's
gotten our
always
check
been,
on the
and
last day of the month, and I was told somewhere down the road, or previously, that was a requirement, that it be that way.
I tried to
So-
change it one time, and I got, oh, you should have heard the stuff I
Right.
got.
So if we wanna maintain that policy, then we're all gonna have to work together and do a little calculations on a monthly basis.
That's fine.
Or we can go back to the timekeeping program.
Let me know the day that you want them in by.
I always send you an email.
I'm just.
But you know, it's always gonna be 3 business days prior to the last business day of the month that you want your check on.
Okay. Any other discussion?
So I think the motion said to require all hourly employees to fill in a timesheet weekly and supervisors sign it and turn it in monthly.
Yes. That's what I
Was that
understood.
seconded?
Yes, I seconded it.
Okay.
But we don't, now remember, if he calls for a vote, nobody says anything, it just
Okay, then
drops.
let's just drop it, cause let's.
So
amend it.
that's up to each individual if they want to respond. I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm just telling you that's what happens since we've discussed a few things here that people want it. Or we could all vote no, or we can all vote yes, or we can vote yes, no, whatever, whatever you want to do.
All right, as a roll call then.
Mhm.
You take roll call, please.
Nelson,
No.
Miller,
No.
Zelinski,
No.
Worth, no, Zeitz,
No. Motion dies.
I make a motion. Can I think this through first? Okay. I make a motion that all hourly employees submit a monthly timesheet. This comes into play though. I'm sorry, I'm talking out loud again. This comes into play like I can't pick a date, just like Dayton said.
it's okay. You're good.
Okay,
Keep going.
all hourly employees submit a signed by themselves and by their department head timesheet to their department head by the date requested from their department head.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? You take roll call, please, Rose.
I'd like to hear your comment. You're the biggest.
Weekly paychecks with them, just fine.
We can go to bi-weekly,
Bi-weekly?
but there's an additional paycheck or an additional charge. Basically, our charge doubles. And that is correct. That would allow us to have clear dates. First to the 15th, 16th through the end.
Yeah,
Please.
you take roll call, please.
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Zeitz.
Yes.
I mean, if anybody
We're
wants to
going to
discuss.
take a
5-minute break,
5-minute
please.
recess at 7:20.
Thank you.
Dayton, you can request that.
I still have 8 o'clock on here, so I think.
I saw that.
I saw that, I just saw
Actually,
that.
Dayton, I would like that
change
idea
it. Here we
because
are.
of those reasons.
We're on
So that
time.
it's clearly, because it also creates a problem at the, and I'm just speaking with Dayton, nobody else is.
We're not
putting
listening.
input. It also resolves the thing like, for the end of the year, calculating that out, right? So the last few days, right? And then it allows you to have a more accurate monthly amount of pay. So I mean, I am not opposed to that, considering that you are the biggest
User of
user.
employees.
Yeah, so,
I follow what the board directs me to do.
well, you can make a recommendation to the board for your employees. That's all I'm saying. You make recommendations of what you want us to purchase, so you could make recommendations of how you would like your employees paid.
So that would change how we're, we'd have to divide it by 26.
Well, I'm pretty sure the payroll program does that automatically. It does a lot automatically.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Use all the features.
Oh, and look at that. That can be taken out of my budget for that extra money, and I wouldn't have a problem with that if we decide to do that.
Make your presentation to the board.
It's being recorded, so.
I'll come next month when, let me talk to them and see what they want.
Would have to amend our motion.
No, we'll just make a new. Okay. Now we're gonna be over. This is 9J. And this something. Nope. Just writing down the motion. I'm writing down the next motion. Ah, very good. I was hoping our meeting would be shorter. Well, if you'll look at what I didn't do.
You get a report.
So according to this.
You almost have the whole alphabet on there, so that was.
I know, that's crazy.
Look, that's smart. We shouldn't have it
Some
back
places
on.
do some. Just right now, because we're already 2.5 hours.
I hope we don't eat those words.
Pappas? I know. Pappas?
We'll do what?
That we don't eat those words.
Oh, yeah.
PAPIST.
So you say what's
T.
your, how many calls are in, whatever that's in there.
PAPIST.
All right, it's 7:25. We're gonna go back into session. Next agenda item is approved disposing of old television and 4-drawer file cabinet.
Yep. Recycling time is coming around for hazardous waste and whatnot, so that TV that was up here, we want to get it out of that room, and there's an empty 4-drawer file cabinet that we moved into the new 4-drawer file cabinet that we want to get rid of.
I move the Inland Board approve the disposition of an obsolete TV and a 4-drawer file cabinet.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I know Clark donated the TV. Should we check with Sandy if I doubt she does. Jim probably gave it to us as a
That
means of
TV,
disposal.
I think they're talking, she's talking about the other TV that was up there.
Jim gave us this one, the one that was up here.
Oh, okay.
Was
All right,
bought
never
with,
mind then. Okay, okay.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
Take roll call, please, Rose.
Okay, we'll take that to hazardous waste in what, June or July? Miller?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Worth, yes. Sights?
Yes,
Zelinski?
Yes.
motion carries. They have quite enough room on here, so item K is
The
Gabbard.
Gabridge auditor, yeah. I've got the papers for the 2025-2026 audit. And Ben and I would like permission to go ahead and sign the paperwork to get that moving forward with that.
Is this another 3-year contract? What? Tell me.
It's the annual audit. I got all this stuff after it was there. This is our third audit with them.
Yeah, 3-year contract.
So this would be it then.
So I would like time to review this 3-year audit. Can we get those copies and postpone this till next month? Is there a reason we have to do it today?
You got the audit. I gave you a book. I give you a book each year for the audit.
No. But are we signing a new 3-year contract?
No. We sign a contract with him every year. No, this is to engage for just 1 year. Each one of these, we sign one every year. He sends this. This is the letter they send about
Why
what
do we sign one every year if we have a 3-year contract with them?
it's part of their program. It's what they do. They send me the same thing every year. And We approved it last year, so Ben and I can sign it, but yeah, that's what it is.
Same as this year.
Yeah, it's the same letter, just different dates on
Different
it,
day.
and Ben and I have to sign it. Or Ted and Teresa can sign it. You can have Mary.
It's for this year.
2025,
Yeah.
2026.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's what I was like, okay. But, so it's just the year. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
There was a motion, was there a second?
No, there wasn't a
There's no
motion.
motion.
Anybody else want to see it? Anybody want to see it? Okay.
You go ahead and make the motion. You got the name and everything in front of you.
Okay, I move to approve the acceptance of the Gaybridge 2025-2026 audit.
You have that written already?
No,
I was waiting for you to write it before I said yes. I'll second.
Any
Sorry,
discussion?
I'm losing my voice. Yeah.
You take roll call, please, Rose.
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Sights.
Yes, motion carries. Lake Ann School.
It is called the Local Governing Body Resolution for Charitable Gaming Licenses. For those who were not here in 2023, Lake Ann Elementary has a 50/50 raffle they do every year, and they need our approval to do it. So they can, it's part of a state requirement. And this year, because they changed their name from PTA to PTO, we have to redo it for
Don't
them.
we have to do it every so many years anyway? There's a time frame on it.
Usually only when they change their name, but they couldn't find theirs in 2023 is why we had to do it in 2023. They couldn't find their copy, so.
I make a motion that we sign the Lake Ann School gaming license with the name change.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Is this a roll call or?
Yes, because it's a resolution.
Take roll, please.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Sights,
Yes,
Worth, yes, Nelson,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
motion carries. I declare this resolution adopted.
I make a motion that we approve the new general ledger numbers and budget amendments that were provided to us all.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Nelson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski,
Yes.
Worth, yes, Sights.
Yes, motion carries. Reports. Does anybody have any questions on the finance report?
I really liked all the added information on there. On the fire department's report.
Does anybody have any questions on the planning commission report?
I just wanted to know with the planning commission report, if there's been some business that wants a data center or Is this something that's just come up?
It's a good question. The MTA has had a couple so you know lunch webinars on the subject. Your most recent Township Focus has it on the cover page. So it's a topic that is being heavily discussed across at least the MTA and all townships.
But nothing has come into us yet.
Nothing has come in front of Planning
Okay.
Commission.
Cool.
But you want to make sure that you have things in place to block it
Absolutely.
before they come, because
Absolutely.
otherwise you can't, as we all know by the Dollar General.
Yes, we do.
Any questions on the supervisor report?
No.
And one thing, the MGT, all I need is a simple yes or no. Do you want me to pursue that, or are we gonna do that on those?
I don't think we should, if he made it sound like it was super expensive, but
It's
if you wanted to
probably
get a
$4,000
quote,
probably
that's your choice.
$4,000 to $6,000. That's probably more than.
I
we would
think
charge.
I feel
I'm
like
good
that's
with
something
us
you and Dayton can figure
That's kind
out.
of like
sharing-
off the cuff number.
sharing like a 60/40, 80/20 on our utilities.
Okay.
Because
So
they
I
already
have
pay
no
their
idea.
liability and work comp out of their own budget.
I can sit down with them and work it out.
Yeah, yeah, so I'm gonna put no on that. Does anybody have any questions on the treasurer report?
No, but I would like to make a couple, small announcements. If I can put my page somehow. I haven't read them. What's the things? Where did it go?
What, the one that's in our packet?
No, oh. Moved it. No, I just would like to, clarify a few things, just for people's knowledge. So the, as you were all should be aware that the Benzie bus made an error on the millage that went on to the tax bill, so a new tax bill went out. So between December 1st and March 30th, the deputy treasurer worked approximately 80 hours above normal coverage hours to assist just with the additional refunds and additional work created by that error. I worked an average of 45 to 60 hours a week. You may not have seen me here on the scheduled days, but many of you can contest to driving by and seeing me here all day Sunday, all day Saturday. Plus I was working from home. So it has been an incredibly busy time for us, and not complaining, I just want you to be aware. And then it isn't stopped, because now, for instance, this is a page from one check I received that I had to create from a mortgage escrow company. So they sent the full amounts, so I had to send them back. I could have either printed each new tax bill plus their additional thing, and then write them each an individual check for each one of these 5 pages, which is 160 something people. Or I could make this little spreadsheet that was very time consuming with what they were billed, what they should have been billed, and therefore what their refund is, and then issue them one giant check at the end for a total of $10,954.81, which is how I chose to do it. But now I'm getting companies, not these people, but from other ones, I'm getting continuous phone calls. Every day of the week, all times of day, I'm taking them, I'm answering them of, why did I get this refund check? I simply cannot understand. Where did it come from? Why did I get it? And it's nonstop. So it takes time, because when they call me, I have to look them up so I can give them an exact information of why
Yeah.
and what happened, who paid their bill, whether they paid it or not, whether they paid the first bill or the revised bill, and explain it to each and every one of those people. So I haven't had a lot of extra time lately to do anything. I just would like to make that clear, that this has been a major problem. The county has offered, because they're well aware of the extreme amount of extra work this is dumped onto every treasurer in this entire county. And some people's, like, I can show you the email that's sent to these people. Ignore this bill. We will be sending revised bills. Clearly, they chose to ignore that email because it's such a large corporation that it got, who knows, bumped around and not gotten to the right person. Although we sent it to the person that's supposedly in charge of refunds. So anyway.
Thanks for taking all the extra time to do that.
Well, thank you. So anyway, I just thought you would like to know that, because it has been an overwhelming amount of work that has not ended quite
Yeah,
yet.
that's crazy.
It is.
And I can't understand when you get something like that, don't people read what they
It
get?
doesn't
No.
pertain to them.
There are numerous people in this township, and I've talked to all the other treasurers. Some of them have had great luck and had not tons of these to do. There are other ones that are in the same boat as me. And there are some that are very, very angry that are sending large bills to the county for their time and effort in this. So the county is willing to pay $1 per check that we wrote out if we are willing to proceed to do
$1
that.
per check.
$1 per check. Each check is approximately 20 minutes of extra work, the refund check we have to write, just so you know. And we did over 200 checks, so over 250 checks. So I'm not asking for the money because I don't feel that it was a one person's job.
Yeah.
I don't know where the money's coming from, to have the money to absorb the cost. I just would, you know, again, like everybody to understand what's been taking place in the treasurer's office.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions on the zoning administrator report?
I have one, I'm not sure if anyone can answer where the new commercial structure is at.
Maybe we could get that, and we could ask them to write down on this new commercial stuff. What, coming into our township?
I don't talk to him about his job.
She just takes.
I haven't been home in weeks.
So, yeah,
Just wondered if
But I mean,
anybody
I'd
did.
like to know what new commercial businesses are coming into our town. so we can
Yeah.
do that.
I guess you gotta be the planning commission meeting. No, I'm kidding.
But
I truly don't know. I've
But I
not
haven't
had-
had a zoning administrator be able to do that yet, no matter what I ask him. You can ask him that, Ted. At planning commission
No,
meeting.
actually, I think it's a fair question.
Yeah, I'd just like to know.
Yeah, and I think it's fair for the board to know if there's a commercial enterprise moving into the township, so.
Cause we
I'll
get
follow up on
questions, we get questions all the time.
Walmart.
All right. Why not? It's going down there where they're burning all the brush. No, it's not.
And then we have, what was it?
I-
Reports, right?
Right.
Okay. Do we have any other business to come before the board?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to make people aware that I'm not going to be able to make the July 13th meeting. I'm going to be out of town. That should be the only one I
I
missed.
would like to make an additional motion that was brought up in public comment.
Okay, well, let's add what you're talking about and then we'll make the motion.
Flags.
Cemetery flags.
Mhm.
I have to make a motion for them.
Mm-mm.
Not necessary.
Well, then I'll just talk. So last year, Rose, Marie, and Bill Sport out volunteered to put up all the veterans' flags at the cemeteries. I'm sure all of you are well aware that they're very, very involved in all of the veterans' programs and organizations around. Bill is a veteran, and it means a lot to him to do them and to have them done. And they asked me personally a while back, if we were gonna allow them to do that again, and it, again, just slipped through the treasurer's craziness. So I think that we should allow them, he asked at the public comment, allow them to do that again. He purchased the flags and they went out and put them all up.
Yeah, you already got the flags.
That'd be great.
I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that. How that's gonna affect those cemeteries on 30.
Yeah.
Because they're
Because of
doing
widening
construction
the
and
road.
stuff, I don't know what they're gonna be doing.
They're gonna dig up some graves.
It looks like they're awful close, you know?
Yeah.
It does.
That stagecoach looks awful close, so.
Maybe they'll get a better view. I don't know.
Do we have any other business coming before the board?
No.
We're gonna have public comment at 7:42. Do we have any public comment? Public comment is closed at 7:42.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Does anybody have any announcements? Adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I thought I had
Aye.
it, but
Any opposed? Motion carries.
What time you got?
7:44.
7:43.
He's going by his, I found out,
Yep.
so.
I'm happy to leave. You can leave right back to you
Okay.
before I forget.
Do I need to sign the school stuff?
No, I got that. Or who does that one? It says on there.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Now we won't see you until you